Now, if we are to look into the presidential candidates for the upcoming presidential elections in Cameroon, then we definitely must look into Prof. Maurice Kamto. Being the first runner-up of last year's election to later being imprisoned and then released, he is once again running for the president of the Republic of Cameroon. And that leads us to ask, what drives him? What are his plans for the Cameroonians? This is the A Report, and I'm your Senogene Doris. But before getting to the video, make sure to like and subscribe to the Next Generation Media channel so you don't get to miss out on any of our subsequent videos. Prof. Maurice Kamto was the CRM's candidate for the presidential elections that took place in 2018. He came up second place, a very bitter loss because he said the elections were rigged, and we went as far as saying he was the president of the Republic of Cameroon. Now, this rebellion led to him and 200 of his supporters being imprisoned on the 20th of January 2019. And later that year, they were released from the Kondegi High Security Prison on the 5th of October 2019 after the national dialogue that happened. Now, he is once again running for the presidency in these 2025 elections. And the question still stands, what does he have to offer to the people of Cameroon? Now, the SBC had an article published talking about his plans for the Cameroonians. Let's read that article. It says, Maurice Kamto, a declared candidate in Cameroon's upcoming presidential election, pledged to overhaul the healthcare system if elected in October, speaking to healthcare professionals last week. A core component of his plan is to improve support to medical personnel. You can't pay doctors a pittance, pay nurses a pittance, said Kamto, the leader of the Cameroon Resistance Movement, the major opposition party. Kamto vowed to increase salaries in the health sector if elected. His program, which he plans to present to voters, proposes the state regain control of training, focusing on high-quality education and increasing the number of healthcare professionals. He criticized the current doctors' population ratio, stating it's unacceptable that Cameroon has only one doctor for every 10,000 inhabitants. Beyond personnel, Kamto emphasized his healthcare reform plan includes improving infrastructure, hospital architecture, and governance. Continues to say he also aims to reform the system to improve the lives of Cameroonian artists, focusing on infrastructural development. We need exhibition halls, he said. Adding that he envisions building a creative industry, starting with cinema. Even though we have a giant of the film industry right next to us, Nigeria, there should be spaces here where Cameroonian cinema can grow. So that is Prof. Maurice Kamto's ambitions for Cameroon. He's looking to improve their healthcare, looking to improve their space for artists in Cameroon. We had this post from the Cameroon news agency talking about his declaration to run for presidential elections, the coming 2025 elections. And the post when Maurice Kamto has reaffirmed his candidacy for the 2025 presidential election. In a press conference held in Yaoundé, he announced a fundraising campaign aimed at raising over 6 billion CFA francs for his electoral campaign. He stated that the funds are expected to come not only from the militants of the CRM party, but also from Cameroonians who desire change. Through dedicated accounts for this purpose, he invited engaged citizens to contribute. The opposition leader further urged traditional rulers to avoid manipulation and to remain respected custodians of their communities. Now, we had a lot of Cameroonians giving their comments under this particular post, and I would say many of them were supporting Maurice Kamto, while others were seeing him as a fraud. We had comments such as, with 0 member represented in the current House of Commons in LRC, what is stated in the Electoral Code in relation to the eligibility to contest as a political party in presidential elections in the LRC. So after the whole showdown that went down in 2019, where he was contesting the election results, saying that he won the elections and the elections were rigged. Later to him being arrested, other of his supporters arrested, to them being released. There was an action taken by his party to boycott elections, so they never went in for no elections in the country for that period of time. So they don't have anybody now in the LRC that is supposed to, as stated in the electoral code. So many people are saying that he's not eligible to run for these particular elections. This other comment says, I support his motives rather than that of any other political party. If only we can reason with his point from a positive direction, then change can come. I pray for understanding and collaboration. Someone else commented and said, raising 6 billion only for campaign when poverty and bad roads are killing Cameroonians every day. So his campaign budget will be something that I think many Cameroonians will face difficulty. I think a lot of people here have said they're going to support, they're going to contribute with his campaign, but 6 billion is a lot of money for a lot of Cameroonians to even group up themselves and meet that amount. So when he puts out this as a budget, many Cameroonians might be looking to him as him trying to extort them, knowing the current state of Cameroon. It might also be him looking to what he's trying to do to he needs to do to achieve a victory in these particular elections. But I think some Cameroonians, a lot of Cameroonians are going to look at it as him not understanding that at the current state of Cameroon right now, 6 billion is a lot of money for people to raise to support a presidential candidate. Okay, someone else posted saying, don't trust Kamto. There's no opposition party in Cameroon. It's only drama going on. Another person commented and said, SCF people should know that they can't win the presidency. Rather, their supporters this year should vote for CRM of Kamto Maurice or Akrimuna. We have this other comment saying there's no opposition in Cameroon. All of them are just playing around CPDM. None is for the interest of the people. Now, a lot of Cameroonians have this belief that there is actually no true opposition party in Cameroon, especially when we see the way the votes turn out, with the way the percentages, like the CPDM, the way they're winning all throughout the years, and the percentages you have the other party just showing like maybe 20 to 15% of the votes. So many people are saying there's practically no serious opposition that is going after the CPDM. They feel like it's just like a stage act, like the parties are just there because of party's sake, and nobody is seriously looking to bring any kind of change or a new regime in Cameroon. Now, with all this said, you can definitely see that Cameroonians are very skeptical, not just about Maurice Kamto, they're skeptical about every single candidate that is looking up to be the next president or some sort of change for Cameroonians. I believe this is going to be our last episode covering the candidates. We have talked about Kabralibi, we have talked about Joshua Osi on our last episode. And this time I'm looking into Maurice Kamto. I was doing this episode so that we can be more informed as we are going about our decisions for voting that is coming up in October. But in all this, we can see that Cameroonians have very, very low expectations from the people who are presenting themselves as those who are to change Cameroon, because yet again we have heard their plans, but I think with all the politicians I've listened, or those who are candidates that are coming up for elections, I would say Maurice Kamto has provided a bit more of what he is planning on doing, has been more a bit direct on what his goals are. You get in some interviews, he talks about his long-term and short-term goals. This interview that was done, I believe, what channel was that again? That is Valerie Dongo. You would like to go check out the videos that he did. He interviewed both Joshua Ose, interviewed Maurice Kamto. I don't think he interviewed Kabralibi. I've not seen videos on that, but you have to go watch the videos in full if you want to understand what these men have in store for you, have to offer in their term in office if they get elected. I really urge every Cameroonian to go sit down and listen to it. It's quite long. There are like 2-3 episodes for each candidate that was being interviewed, so you might want to go and check that out. But in all of it, you get them talking a lot about their aspirations. I would say mostly I've heard more about Maurice Kamto. He seems more structured in the way he plays his things. Still doesn't mean he is the perfect candidate. Like I said, the candidate that will be best for you to go vote for is a candidate that has your interest at heart. When you listen to these people speak, when you listen to them talk about their views, their visions, are they in your interest? And that's all for this video, guys. And like I said, it's going to be our last video we're covering on the presidential candidates for this year's presidential elections. I would like to know what your views are. Is there any particular candidate that you wish we looked into that we did not look into? Please drop it in the comment section below. And what are your views on the Prof. Maurice Kamto and his return back to the presidential run? Drop down your comments in the comment section below. But before you go, make sure to like and subscribe to the Next Generation Media channel so you don't get to miss out on our subsequent videos. Bye.